I think 2021 was an amazing year. If I were to try and summarize it, we're talking of setting new records. A record EBITDA, record underlying profits. We're talking 68% up against last year. And really important, achieving 11.4% return on capital. This is really strong. What I really like, though, as well, is the excellent cash generation now. The real point is Q4 was a very, very strong quarter. And I'd say the one thing that everybody's looking for is how is Solvay going to overcome the cost inflation pressures? And the reality is we increased our prices. We increased them by 12% in the quarter against the prior year. That's never been done before. As a result of that, we had basically a break-even pricing power. And that is something that for us, we're incredibly proud of, because that really sets us up for success as we go forward as well.
Karim, I think that's... So I'm going to jump in, actually. I wouldn't normally do this, but I think you've given us a very interesting stepping stone to our next questions. So you managed to transfer to your customers a 12% increase in prices, which I think is quite extraordinary in the current environment. Just I guess, two questions, really. One, what were the inflation increases if you managed to increase prices to clients of 12%? And two, do you see it continuing at that kind of level, sir?
No, that's a really important question. So let me just remind you, the middle of last year, we said, look, inflation's coming our way. It's going to add between 2 and 250 million more of costs that we have to overcome. In early November, I said, you know what? We got it wrong. It's going to be near 400 million that we have to overcome. And today, the figures I'm going to report that we've reported are, we've overcome 465 million of inflationary costs. Despite that, we've achieved those records. Now, how did you do it? Essentially, mainly through pricing, that is key, but it's working with our customers. It's about being very transparent. It's about anticipating. It's about working with them, because ultimately, we need each other. Our customers also need to push their prices up. So by anticipating, by working very constructively with them, we managed to progress our pricing. And guess what? Without losing market share, without losing volumes. And that's really, really important, because we're managing the growth in our top line. And that's also, by the way, as we look forward to 2022, what are we saying? We're assuming that the cost inflationary pressures aren't going to ease. We're not saying, speculating they're going to get worse. No, we're not saying that. What we are saying is we're here to win. We're here to repeat what we've done on pricing. And that's how you can expect Solvay to progress in 22.
Karim, can I get into what you're saying in the autos and electronics sector? Because these were the two areas where you saw momentum. And we've heard from other executives where they've seen strength in certain sectors that they think the pricing environment will remain strong in those areas too. So just walk us through those two particular sectors.
Well, I think to your point, we've got very, very strong demand. Our order books are very, very strong. We looked at them yesterday. Again, there's no sign of any easing at all. What I will say, though, is I look at the whole of Solvay's businesses, there isn't a single business, a single market that we serve where we see signs of softening right now. That is a reality. That's why we're quite confident. I think we're cautious about the environment, particularly the geopolitical environment. Of course we are. But we're here to overcome. We're here to progress despite that. But I can't pinpoint specifically one or two aspects. If we talk about auto, maybe one thing I will highlight, and we announced it a few weeks ago, around major investment in batteries. We are the leaders. We're going to extend our leadership positions. We're putting 300 million of investment into our site in France to make sure that we extend our leadership positions, because we really have our eye, how can I say, on the telescope. We're looking at future value growth, future top-line growth, and that's what we're doing. And that's because we have that confidence, that conviction that A, we've got the positions, the innovation, and we're incredibly well positioned. We intend to hold on to that lead.
Karim, you've got operations and investments in Russia. Can I ask you, what planning are you and the board doing at this point if the sanctions regime starts to impact companies in the West that do have business in Russia?
Yeah. No, that's obviously something we've been looking at very, very proactively. I'll give you one or two facts. Fundamentally, our sales into that region are less than 1% of our revenue. So it's not at all something which is problematic. However, depending on the nature of the sanctions and the reactions. For example, if energy supplies into Europe are really curtailed, then everybody was going to be a totally different ballgame. If Russia is excluded from SWIFT, for example, again, that could have major ramifications. Now, what we don't do is speculate. What we don't do is say, oh, what should we do with what we do know is that we will repeat what we did in the COVID crisis. We will act very decisively to make sure we navigate whatever comes our way. We've shown we can do it, and we're fully prepared to repeat that. In the meantime, we look at our key customers. I saw what some French manufacturers announced yesterday about their factories in Ukraine. We will stand by our customers to make sure we meet their needs, and that's important during tough times.